Hi guys, Freddie B here. Happy Saturday on this 6th day of March. It's not a nice day in Florida. We need a little rain, and we're getting a little bit of rain today, which is great. Southwest Florida, we need rain. It's going to be beautiful tomorrow, so that's okay. Hey, I want to talk to you about why Ben Shapiro's right and why Nancy Pelosi is an idiot, but I got to admit, she's got brass balls, because I want to talk about House Resolution number 1. Now, House Resolution number 1 apparently is the first bill by this new Congress that is getting passed. And in this bill, they are trying to change how people vote. And I'm going to go through some of the things in this bill, and I want you to ask yourself, how is this helping me as a legitimate American voter? What is it doing to my vote? Remember, one man, one vote? The power of one vote. Remember in 2000 the importance of your vote and the importance of everybody's votes. Unfortunately, our last election, I don't know that our votes counted because I think it was a manufactured election, and I always will continue to think it's a manufactured election. However, here is what's in House Resolution number 1, just some of the things. So pardon me while I look down and I'll come back up. First thing is they want the taxpayer to pay for their elections. Okay, so you and I, when we do our taxes, we can check a box, say you want $1 or $2 to go to the Federal Election Commission, and that is part of the matching funds, and that is so candidates can have a little bit of help in funding their elections. In this bill, they want you and I to pay for their entire election. Not going to happen. They want to ban voter ID. Now tell me anywhere in this country you can go and you don't have to have ID. I think voting is one of the most sacred rights we have as Americans. It is one of the first rights bestowed upon us as Americans in this republic by our founding fathers. And it was debated just for hours and hours and hours up in Philly on who should vote, who has the right to vote, do you have to have land, should women vote, all those things. And if you look at voting historically has become a huge issue every time something new has happened, like women's suffrage movement, or African Americans getting the right to vote after the Civil War, or former slaves becoming citizens and getting the right to vote. These things were debated. I'm not going to go into the history of it, but it proves in our country how important our vote is. And they want to ban voter ID. Go try to buy a 6-pack of beer. Go buy a pack of cigarettes. Try to get on a plane. Try to check a book out of a library without your ID. But you could go vote without an ID. How is that helping the average person? Okay, they want to prevent the removal of ineligible voters off the voter rolls. You know, every several years we purge our voter rolls because people move in and out, people die, and you take them off the voting rolls. They want to keep everybody on the voting roll, so you have this ever-expanding availability of voters that can vote in absentia. Unfortunately, my uncle became a Democrat. It happened because he died 3 weeks ago. And they're counting on him being still on those rolls when it's time to send out those ballots. They'd like to give minors the vote. They want 16-year-olds to be able to vote. Now, I don't know about you. I don't have a 16-year-old child. I don't have any children. I've been blessed. But some of you have been blessed with children. And think about your 16-year-old. You don't even want to give your 16-year-old the keys to your car. And you're going to give them this right, this most inalienable right of all, the right to vote. Now, you know, people will say, well, people don't vote. Well, you know, they're apathetic. Maybe they want to, maybe they're alienated. Maybe they don't think their vote counts, or maybe by not voting, they are expressing their right to vote, but at least they have a choice. You don't want to give that. They also want to give felons the right to vote. I don't know if this means that if you're in prison, you get to vote, but I'm going to vote for the guy who's going to get me out. Come on. They would like to have 15 days on the books of early voting. I am not a fan of early voting. I don't like early voting. I think if you're going to have early voting, you should have it for a week. And I think all votes should be counted the night of the election, which is the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November nationally. It shouldn't be extended, but your friends in the House would like to extend absentee ballots for 10 days after the vote that they can be received. I understand why. That way they can see how the vote's going and manufacture the number of votes they need in order to win. And lastly, I'll talk about ballot harvesting. They want you to be able to go and ballot harvest so that people can show up. The guy with the veto, oh, I got votes here that just happened to show up. So I want you to think about this closely. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. You cannot be for this. They are trying to turn the tide so that there will never, ever be another Republican elected, I guess. Because every one of these things is something that either has been done, they're doing, states do. And here's the interesting thing. They're trying to make this a federal law. And if I remember correctly, the 10th Amendment says those rights not specifically outlined here in the Constitution are enumerated back to the states, which means that the states decide on the voting laws, what the hours of voting and whatever, unless it's mandated federally. So, it sounded terrible there, I realize that. So why is Ben Shapiro right? Because guess what? Governor Rick DeSantis down here in Florida wants to change our vote. He's going to have an overhaul of our election laws so that what happened elsewhere never happens in Florida. You know, for years we were the hanging Chad capital of the world, and we had more voter fraud. The first thing he did was accept the resignation and fire the people who were in charge of the votes in Palm Beach County and in Fort Lauderdale area. So that eliminated a lot of voter fraud right there. I got a feeling that DeSantis is going to win his re-election as governor, and I would hope that he would wait till he is finished being governor before he runs for president. But if he runs for president, I will probably support him. So anyway, because let's face it, he's done a good job. You look at the red states versus the blue states, there is a competition. Florida's doing great. We're wide open. Come on down. We want you to come down, enjoy our beaches, enjoy our restaurants. Please enjoy our restaurants. And come on down and see us here in Florida, okay? And if you want to move to Florida, we would love to have you. Just do me a favor, leave your politics up north. That's all we ask. So, for now, Freddie B., wonderful day. I'll look to see you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.